the Experience Darden podcast. I'm your host, Brett Twitty, and you are listening to a new episode. So on this episode of the podcast, I'd like to feature a conversation I recently recorded with three Darden partners, Ellie Hoffman, Sara Portman, and Hannah Daniel. I recently sat down with Sara, Hannah, and Ellie to talk a little bit more about the Darden Partner experience and their advice for partners relocating to Charlottesville. So without further ado, here is my conversation with three of our Darden partners. Sara, Hannah, Ellie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
All right. So for our listeners at home, tell us a little bit more about you. Let's start with you, Ellie.
So my name is Ellie Hoffman. I moved here with my husband this summer. He's a first year. We moved from New York City, but I'm originally from Boston, and I'm working here at Darden. I'm the Assistant Director of Enrollment Marketing. Yeah.
Sara?
I'm Sara Portman. I also work here at Darden in admissions as well. So if you ever come here to interview or come see a class visit, I'm the face you'll see. I am a second-year partner. I'm actually the outgoing president of the DPA. So just had my final day as president yesterday, so officially done. And we moved here from Charleston, South Carolina. My husband is taking an entrepreneurial path, and so we are just patiently waiting where that will take us in May when we graduate.
And Hannah?
I'm Hannah Daniel. I moved here with my husband in the fall. We were from New York City. I grew up upstate New York. I actually just graduated nursing school in September. And I'm working on getting a job here. I just got my nursing license in Virginia this month, so that's exciting. And my husband does the dual program at Darden. He's doing a MBA and Master's in Data Science.
All right. So we're here to talk about the partner experience. For those of you listening, you may have already put that together. So we'll talk about the DPA, which Sara referred to, which is the Darden Partners Association, amongst many other things. So let's talk a little bit more about the consideration process, how you and your partners thought about, the business school decision. So Hannah, let's start with you. What was that consideration process like?
So like I mentioned, my husband's really interested in tech and data science. So he looked at a lot of different schools all over the country. And what kind of drew us to Darden was it's different than New York City. We wanted to be outside. We wanted to be near nature. But we didn't want to be too far from civilization, really. And the data science and the resources here at Darden and at UVA were just something that we felt we couldn't turn down.
How about you, Sara?
Yeah, so my husband is what they call a non-traditional student. He was a journalist and editor before coming to business school, and so this was going to be a big pivot for my husband. We knew that this was going to be an intense 2 years, and we wanted to make sure that we were really getting the education portion of this and not just the network, which, is a divider between a lot of schools. So we wanted to focus on education and really understand business because we did not know anything about that prior to coming here. And so when we were making the consideration, we considered faculty, we considered the community of people. Darden's learning team and section culture here really encourages one another to succeed, and that was a really big benefit to us. Also, just the Darden community in general. I remember he came back from his interview and was like, hands down, Darden, it's it. So we crossed our fingers, and we have had a great 2 years.
And Ellie?
My husband comes from a sales and trading background, and he knew he really wanted to pivot into private equity. So he knew he wanted to do business school, and we really wanted to get out of New York City. So I think when we were considering a business school, we really wanted to be out of a city. So there were really only a couple of schools on the East Coast that we were considering. And when we came to visit Darden, we both fell in love with it. I think one of the things I love most about Darden is that everyone comes in not really knowing anyone in Charlottesville. And so everyone wants to make friends, as opposed to some city schools. People have other friend groups they can fall back on. So the community was a big thing for us here, and has continued to be the reason that we love Darden so much.
So one of the things that I've been struck by is how the Darden Partners Association is sort of a community within a community, and there's even sub-communities within the DPA. So Sara, let's start with you at least, since you are the outgoing president of the DPA. Talk a little bit more about the organization and the role that it plays here.
Yeah. So the Darden Partners Association is an inclusive community that is essentially the same network and community that Darden creates for the students with sections and learning teams, like I was saying, but for partners. So essentially, as soon as you show up here, you already have a community of people that are rooting for you and really want to make sure that these 2 years at Darden and in Charlottesville are the best they can be. Like Brett said, there are, communities inside of the DPA. We have an international committee and a family committee, as well as just the overall DPA, so that we can really focus on the needs of our partners. No matter who you are, what you are, where you're coming from, we have resources for you, and also just that tight-knit community that Darden has to offer. Darden is also an incredible place in that the community itself is so open to partners. Partners are welcome to join all the clubs at Darden the same way students are, but the DPA in particular is just a space for partners. It's a club for partners by partners, so it's been a really fun place to be.
So what's been some of the programming you've enjoyed? I mean, you're all involved with the DPA. So what it's been fun sharing some of this on the Admitted Student blog and different channels, but it's a lot going on. So what have been some of the highlights from at least the past few months for y'all?
We've been busy. But I love, we get really involved in the community, which is something that I think is important when you move to a new place, kind of like enmeshing yourself. So we've been to basically every workout studio or fitness studio in the town. They always give us really discounted or free workout classes as they welcome us. We have really fun happy hours, which is always a bonus. And we've done a lot of holiday themed or exploring places. We'll go to Carter Mountain, which is a great apple picking, and what else is those donuts, the cider donuts there are really worth your time. Those have been some of my favorite things.
I think what's awesome too is in the first month when you move here, your students really busy with orientation and getting used to the class schedule, and the GPA does a really good job of keeping you busy. So the first football game, the GPA runs the Darden tailgate and everything, and they just do a really good job of we had so many different events that even the first 2 weeks that we were our student would be busy, and we'd be oh, we're busy too, we have somewhere to go. So they're really thoughtful about everyone that's coming to Darden and wanting to meet new people, not just the students but also the partners.
Yeah, we always try to plan events while we know students are busy. So especially during recruiting season or learning teams at night, those are when we plan events. We'll never try to plan an event where you're competing for time with your student, because we know that time is really valuable. And so we try to, we have book clubs and community service events and movie nights and just anything and everything to make your time in Charlottesville a meaningful experience. And just a fun way to bond.
Yeah, so one of the things I know that comes up for folks who are looking at Darden with a partner is, you all had careers before moving to Charlottesville, and Charlottesville is not New York, it's not D.C., it's San Francisco, a larger city. How did you think through, jobs, continuing your career, these sorts of things that invariably come up when it's a we thing or people are looking at, at schools together?
Yeah. I think it is a really big challenge, for partners making that decision to make the move to Charlottesville and potentially giving up your career path, or not career path, but if you really like the position you're in and the company you're with, deciding to give that up can be really hard. But I will say that there are so many great companies here and so many different options. We have friends that have continued to work remote for their company. I interviewed with so many different marketing companies around Charlottesville. A lot of people even work out in Richmond, which is about an hour away, or DC is only 2 hours. So there are people that consider that commute. I do think there are a lot of great opportunities in this area, and we'd actually have a jobs email. So we do a really good job of connecting people to positions here and putting them in contact with people that are from a similar industry. So the GPA was super helpful when I was reaching out.
Yeah. Ellie and I are actually on the jobs committee of the DPA because we both have been searching for jobs here and have been really involved in that process. We have so many contacts in the community who have had partners work with them in the past, and most of the time they love the partners that they get because they're hardworking people who come from great backgrounds and great new places and can bring skills to Charlottesville that might not have already been here. So we have so many contacts and partners who have so many different experiences. I've talked to a lot of partners, like just kind of informationally, like chatting about their nursing and what they've done here. And I've set up a lot of calls between other people who are currently looking or trying to get involved. And we just have so many people with like different things who all can help each other. So it's been, it can be the most daunting thing, I think, about moving here. But there are so many resources and there are so many good things here for people to do.
Yeah. I would say that finding a job was for sure my biggest stress when moving to Charlottesville. I was an event coordinator before being in Charlottesville and Charleston, and the hours, if I was to continue down that path, I would never have seen my husband last year because the hours are weekends and nights, and I just didn't want to do that anymore. And so this was a really cool opportunity for me to kind of shift my skill set in a really different way. And I did so through UVA Temps. The Temps agency here at UVA, like all over UVA and not just at Darden in particular, is awesome. And they want partners to succeed and they love hiring partners. And so when they see a partner show up on their temps list, they call you like within days. They are on it. I had a job last year in the admissions program with the School of Medicine, and then this year with Darden, doing events for their admissions committees. And it's been a fun way to shift, but it's also, like Ellie was saying, like marketing, like there are so many different ways you can take that position. And when you show up to a new town, you don't really know how that's going to pan out. And it's worked out really wonderfully. And like our jobs, in Charlottesville, I think that every partner that wanted a job pretty much has a job at this point. So, if you want a job and you want to work, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We're on your team here.
Yeah.
And I think all of us would agree that we can't imagine not having made the move. Like, I wouldn't give up these 2 years for anything. It's such an amazing experience to experience with your student. So,
We keep saying we graduate in May because it does. I mean, it's been 2 years where we've put in our time and energy into moving here and experiencing something different. And I expect graduation presents. So fingers crossed.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, so what do these 2 years mean for you? I mean, beyond just, making a career change, potentially doing something different than what you were doing before. When you looked at, being here in Charlottesville for 21 months or so, I mean, what was important to you? What did you want to get out of this experience?
So for me, I knew I wanted to be flexible. I knew that my husband was going to have time to travel and he was going to be, summer internships are a really big deal at Darden. And so I knew he was going to leave for the summer and I wanted to be able to do all of that. Like I wanted to be as involved as he was and as, able to go as he was. And that was really important to me. And so when I took the job through the temps agency, I knew I've had 2 full-time jobs essentially last year and then again this year, but I had the summer off. And so I was able to make that, internship summer work for both of us. And we were both able to go over the summer. And so I knew that I wanted to be able to be a part of this community and really dive deeper into I'm the kind of person where if I'm not involved, I'm miserable. And so I knew that if we were going to go to Darden, I was going to be really involved. And I was president. I mean, I really got in there. And now I work here. And so that was really important for me, that I wanted to make sure that this felt like a community for both of us and not just for my student.
Yeah. I agree. I think that was for me, like really wanting to move here and be involved in everything. And I think it's almost harder to not be involved in stuff. There's just like so many opportunities to go to different activities and everyone like meshes into one. Students and partners, like you don't know who's who. Everyone's just invited to everything. And, they're really good about just including everyone. So I think like really being a part of everything, doing all the trips, that was really big for me too. And I think this is really corny, but my mom and dad did business school and my whole life she's told me, you haven't met some of your closest friends yet. And I 100% know what she means now moving here. And like, I've made so many great friends that I know I'll have for the rest of my life. So that was really big for me as well.
Yeah. How about you, Hannah?
Yeah, I guess for us, and actually for all of us, we all got married recently, so it's kind of like a new chapter in a lot of different ways. It was my first time leaving New York State. It was my hopefully only time getting married, and, being at business school. So it's kind of like a lot of changes at once, but I felt like I was so excited to start everything and get really involved. And like Ellie said and Sara said, I hate sitting around and I just wanted to do everything that I could. And Darden makes it so easy. And I was really nervous with some of the places that we had like been that I was going to be kind of having to figure out myself or like do my own thing. And I loved that this is kind of my business school too, even though I'm definitely not one for business school classes. I feel like I'm a student here. Not really, but like I feel like I have the same kind of resources and I have the same connections and so many great friends.
Yeah. I always say that I go to business school, but I don't ever have to go to class. And it's like the best, like you get the best of both worlds.
The best
great. Yeah.
A lot of people at the beginning didn't know if I was the student or Will because only like his section knew who he was at that point. And I had met other people and they were like, oh, you go here, right? And I was like, yeah, I'm in section E. And nobody had any idea that I was not the student.
No, but that's great. I mean, it says a lot about the community and the sense of inclusion here.
Yeah.
So what's been surprising to you about your experience so far? I mean, so Sara, the end is near for you. Ellie, Hannah, we're just getting started here. So
well, yeah. I was surprised, I guess, how everybody goes to everything, like not, which is exactly what you want and hope for, but like everybody really does. And I was so surprised the first week I was here. I moved a little bit later than everyone else did, and I was so nervous to make friends. And I went to 3 events the first 3 nights I was here, and I met like 75 people who I was like, oh, they're my friends now. I'm all set. And everyone goes to everything. It was like everyone loves to be here and they love to meet people. And I was just so surprised that it was like that kind of community. You know, you go to college and not everyone shows up for everything. And this is definitely different. Like everybody is here. Everybody wants to be here. And so they really put in their time and energy.
Totally. I was surprised by Charlottesville. When you look at the numbers, it's a super small town in the little remote area in the mountains here. And coming from Charleston, South Carolina, already a cute, small little town. I couldn't imagine going smaller. But then you show up here and it is booming. It is like there is something every night, not just in the DPA social calendar or the Darden social calendar, but also Charlottesville. Like there are concerts, and because of the university, there's amazing food and bars and drinks and all kinds of like amazing things that you would get from a big city that you are getting in this like amazing, beautiful small town. Again, coming from the beach, it's amazing. The mountains here. I was surprised that the, Shenandoah National Park is 25 minutes from my front door. Like that was surprising. Like I knew the mountains were there, but like they're there. Yeah. So, I was just surprised by just like the actual physical space that Charlottesville is. It is an incredible town, and that is probably going to be like, we love Darden, but like we're really sad to leave Charlottesville. It's a beautiful place. People always say you'll never leave, and now I get it. As I'm supposed to leave, I'm like, no, I'm cool. Let's keep the lease for 1 more month.
Yeah, I would second both of that. And then also say that I think I was surprised. I really expected to like never see my husband when we moved here. You definitely like hear some horror stories of like they're just going to be so busy, and between learning teams and classes and everything, you're never going to see them. And I think they're definitely busy, but I was seeing him all the time too. And we were, going to the activities together, and I just never felt like I was like missing out on anything with him, and I was so busy myself. I'm sure we've all had those moments where our husbands will be like, oh, like, what are you doing tonight? And you're like, oh, well, I'm going to do this. Like, see you later. And they're like, wait, you have plans? What? Like, yeah, like we all get so busy and like have our own lives too. And like you want to go hang out with all your like GPA friends or like other students that you've met. So I think that's kind of been a fun element that like they're busy, but so are you.
So, you look back on the decision that you made and, as you were thinking through everything to come to Darden and make this choice, what do you wish you could have told your previous self? What advice would you have given, you a year or two ago?
I think I have a ridiculous one, but it'll be useful for some, like me. My husband and I decided that we were going to take a cross-country road trip before we showed up here last year, and it perfectly timed that we would show up the day before Darden Before Darden. So we went on a 31-day cross-country road trip, showed up to Darden Before Darden. All of a sudden, he's doing class all day, cases are happening, and then school starts the next weekend. So, like, we essentially never unpacked. We just showed up like the day school started, essentially. And I would strongly suggest giving yourself a little bit of time, get, acclimated with Charlottesville, move into your house, just things like that. You can show up, and we did it. We pulled it off. Look at us graduating in May. But like I said, Charlottesville's a really cool place to be. Give yourself the summer,
Yeah.
So if you have a job, or if you and your partner have a job where you can take off like a month before and give yourself like a little bit of time, get acclimated with the city, know your grocery store and things like that before you just show up and go to school, I would strongly suggest it. Because, you do have that summer off and it's awesome. But if you are able to move in and you can start getting to know Darden people because they get here, second year is already coming back, and you can get into the Darden community early. And then, like, looking for a job, and all of that can happen earlier than if you show up in August.
Yeah. I guess I came later than that.
Right.
I didn't move here until the beginning of September, maybe even really wasn't around until closer to the end of September. And I would encourage anyone who could, even if you just come down at the beginning for the weekends, like those first 2 weekends there's so much happening, and I've made so many friends even moving at the end of September, and I know people have come in October and November, but there's so much fun things happening at the beginning that if you can just come to those weekends, and meet people and get involved and literally go to everything. And I think that really sets you up well for the whole time that you're here. Like, I got here late and everything was fine, but I would have loved to be a part of those like beginning memories. And just kind of get comfortable earlier. Yeah. Kind of building on Sara.
Yeah. I think I would say, like, one of the big things for me was, I was very unsure about Charlottesville, so I would tell myself, you're going to be obsessed with Charlottesville. I think two of the biggest regrets I hear people say after the fact is, like, A, not getting involved soon enough and, like, going to everything, and B, not taking advantage of the time to travel. Between, like, Darden World Red courses, they invite partners to go and things like that. And also you just get so much great time to take advantage of traveling together. So, I would definitely just say, enjoy it all, and don't be afraid of anything.
And to jump off of that, the second piece of advice that I would give is to get involved in like a way you never thought you could. Like, just jump in with 2 feet, and you will enjoy your time here so much more because it's a small town and the community is tight knit. If you're not, then you're on the outside. Like, get involved and put yourself out there and meet these people, because the community here is why people come to Darden, right? Like, we have like an amazing community of students and faculty that are invested in one another, and they're all here to lift each other up. I remember when we were looking at other schools, my husband felt like it was kind of like stepping over each other to like get to the top. And here it's like everyone's just like pushing themselves up to the top with one another. And that was a really big, a plus for us, because especially with this non-traditional background, we needed all the hands to lift, So that's been a huge, part of it for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to make a plug for Charlottesville in the summertime. It's nice.
It is nice.
It's nice.
Oh, man, I wish we were here over the summer. We got, like, the tail end of both sides. Weather is stunning. The downtown mall, which I'm sure if you're looking at Charlottesville, it's, like, the first Google search that comes up. But it's a pedestrian mall, and they do Fridays after 5. Tonight kicks off the first one.
Yeah.
We're all going. DPA event. Meet us at the Citizen Bar if you'd like to. But they have live music and food trucks and just, like, all kinds of fun stuff going on. The Carter Mountain apple orchard, like you were talking about.
The vineyard scene is very good. I love a glass of wine, and the vineyards here are beautiful.
Yeah.
And the hikes are nice, and
there's the park.
So much to do. I'm going to be here this summer, and I am very excited.
It's going to be great.
For any partners moving early, Hannah and I will both be here, and you can check out the GPA site. I think we'll put information on how to get connected.
Group me, coming in quick.
If you're moving this summer, there was a lot of partners that will be here and want to hang out. So
And it gives you ample time to appreciate the mini grocery store options.
Yes.
So in the Charlottesville
I don't know if
metro
I've
area.
ever been to more grocery stores. There's so many grocery stores here. I'm not even kidding. In like a 2-mile radius. You have
crazy.
all your
Well.
options.
Foods of all nations. I mean,
I do like that.
it is fire. They got everything you need.
Oh, they have really good chocolate.
And the wine selection is great too.
Yes.
So as we wrap up here and you think about, all right, so if I'm a partner listening to this podcast, I'm thinking, all right, next steps from here. What should I do? We're either in the process of thinking about going to school, or maybe we've chosen Darden. What next steps would you offer to someone in that position?
I would say come to Darden Days if you're an admitted student considering Darden. It's an absolutely amazing weekend in April, and there's a whole section of events for partners where we really like dig into a lot of the big questions that partners have, and it's just such a fun weekend. And also we have a website, so check out the Darden Partners website. There's a lot of answers to questions there, and all of our different emails for the different committees can be found there, and you can sign up for our emails and everything there.
Yeah.
I was going to say, check out our Facebook page also. You're more than welcome to join the page now. Just, I think you have to ask to join or whatever, and we'll admit you, no problem. And there's a little Google form you can fill out with some brief information, and then that gets you our mailing list. We have a DPA digest that goes out once a week with all of the amazing programming that we have for each week. I mean, imagine we have a whole newsletter each week. That's how much fun we are. And so sign up, put your name out there, get involved now, ask questions. If you're looking at places to live, ask us questions about that. That can be posted on there. Second years are trying to get rid of their places and their furniture, most likely. So that's a great way to just kind of see what we got going on and dive in early.
I would say if you don't have a lease, that should be at the top of your list, is finding somewhere to live. There's a blog post about housing options. We know a lot about housing and we can help there. I think that was like a big stressor for me, not knowing where I was living. And then I would also say reach out about jobs. Like if you are starting to think about that, the earlier you start, the easier it is, the more options you have. And it can help alleviate a lot of that stress if you know what's out there and you know the resources you have, which again, we can help you with. But I would say definitely get involved, try to figure out your housing and your jobs, and you'll be happy. You won't regret it. You won't regret coming here. I can promise you that.
I love
it.
We were all in your shoes 1 year ago, 2 years ago. We ask us anything because we love to help out with everything you're going through. So.
Yeah. And going back to the jobs thing, I don't know if we mentioned, but the DPA does resume books. So if you are looking for a job, you can email the job's email address and forward us your resume. We send out a resume book of all of the partners that are interested to 200 companies in the Charlottesville area. So we send it out at Labor Day and then at Memorial Day also. So May is right around the corner. So send it in now.
Yeah. It's a great way to get started.
Well, Sara, Hannah, Ellie, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks. This was such a blast. Hopefully we'll see you at Darden soon.
Yeah.
And that was my conversation with three of our Darden partners, Ellie Hoffman, Sara Portman, and Hannah Daniel. As always, if you have any comments, suggestions, requests, anything you'd like for us to cover here on the podcast, we are all ears. We can be reached at darden@virginia.edu. Until next time, thanks for listening.